Hey everyone, this is Trevor Truck, and I am driving a nice car. Beautiful car. It's a Jaguar something. But anyway, we are somewhere in Switzerland, and I thought it would be nice to just drive on the road. Now I understand this is supposed to be a race. I don't care so much about the race aspect, you know? The only thing that I really care about is just driving on the great open highways of Switzerland. And that's what we're gonna do. Now, I've always said, this is Project Cars 2, by the way, and I've always said, this game is beautiful. The graphics are beautiful. I mean, my computer might be burning up, it might be on fire. But it's like that meme of the dog in the burning building. This is fine. But what's the point of this video, you may wonder? Well, I say it every time. The only point is to relax, you know? The gameplay, this isn't master gameplay, okay? I'm not a master gamer, never have been. And trust me, I drive a lot better and safer in real life, so no need to worry about that. But I really love this little town. This whole area is so nice. And it's just relaxing to kind of see, like, ooh, that's unsafe. Just to see the mountains, just to see the bodies of water. It's a nice, kind of overcast day. Boy, these turns are sharp. I'm gonna try my best to drive normally, but I apologize for the crashes. The crashes are gonna happen. And I forget what game it was. Was it Need for Speed? What was it? Or was it Forza? Yeah, Forza. This kind of reminds me of Forza, the way it looked, the graphics and all that. Forza 4 was the game that I had. And you know, I tried to play it, and for like a hot minute I was able to, and then I don't know why, but the game stuttered terribly. Now, it's been a long time since I played it, but it stuttered so much that I just couldn't enjoy it. And you know, you can turn down the graphics all you want, it's still gonna stutter, it's still gonna mess up. And so I had to stop. And I know that Forza 5 is out, and I'm sure it looks good. You know, I feel like there's a lot to do, a lot to unlock, a lot of nice, really nice cars, and I've always been a fan of this whole idea of just, dang, how much more could I have pressed the brakes? I have always liked the idea of being able to just drive on the open road. No responsibilities. You know, I don't have to fill up the tank unless that's like a gameplay mechanic. But no responsibilities, just like it could be any day of the week. And you're just driving. I love this. This puts me in a better place, especially because prior to recording this, I actually did have a very frustrating recording session. And that's a long story. I was recording some DBD, or at least I was trying to, and I don't know what happened, but the players Like, I was playing as the killer. And some of the people playing Survivor were just not trying. You would have people who would just stand around. And there could be any number of reasons why they were standing. But for it to happen 3 matches in a row, people just not trying their best, just standing there, just giving up, that told me that it was a sign to just stop playing and take a break from the game. Because, you know, I'm not a good killer. I'm not good at DBD. But I know the difference between when people try and when they don't try. And when people don't try, I feel like I can't have that much fun, you know? Like, if I'm gonna succeed, I want to succeed knowing that the other people gave it their all as well. That's just me. Call me crazy, but I prefer when my opponents try. That's what I prefer. Anyway, I think what I'm gonna do is pick another course, because this is already lap 3, and I think you get the idea of what this place looks like. Anyway, I'm really enjoying myself. This is actually relaxing. And again, this is just such a beautiful environment, such a beautiful atmosphere. And the only thing I want out of this for you, as the viewer, is to just be relaxed. To fall asleep if you want to. So, why don't we move on to the next map, okay? Alright, so we are in beautiful Australia, and the race has begun. Now, this is more of a traditional racetrack, you know? We're like rally cars. And I turned down the volume of certain aspects of the environment, namely the audience, because in my opinion the audience is a little bit distracting to me. So yeah, that's just how I feel. But I like this. This is a great moment. And you know, I think sometimes, and I might have talked about this before, I think sometimes we've forgotten how to live in the present. And I'll be honest, like, when I think of something like anxiety is always about what's going to happen, what we think is going to happen, but we don't know for sure. And if you're anything like me, you want to be certain of things. And if you're not certain of things, well, that's where the scary part comes in. I'm scared about the future, like all of us are. Because I don't know, what is the world going to be 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now? But you know what I've noticed? The more you think about it, the more time that just passes by, you know? And what I want to try to do is think about not what's happening 5 years from now. Because you could play out 10, 15 different scenarios, right? I want to think about what's happening now. Because now, that's all I have. And I don't know about you watching this, but I can tell you, me sitting here playing this, I feel okay. I feel fine. Tomorrow I have work and responsibilities and all sorts of things going on, and the same worries that I've always had, the same issues, the same anxiety, the same problems that I've always had. But I also have right now. Driving very poorly, in dead last because I don't know. I don't know how to drive. And I find myself being okay with that. Now, what I've come to realize, of course, is that every single person has worries and issues and problems going on in their lives. That's why something like ASMR has been so valuable to me, because sometimes when I watch ASMR, it's like all those things kind of melt away, even if for just a little while. And the crazy thing is that it doesn't have to be anything special. It doesn't have to be well produced. It doesn't have to be flashy. It can just be what it is, and it works. It helps to relax me. Just like this. I mean, I'm just driving on a road. There's absolutely no rhyme or reason other than this is the backdrop to what I'm saying. This is the simple, I don't want to say low effort because I don't see it that way, but let's just say simple. This is the simple ASMR that I am all about. Driving in this beautiful Australian landscape, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, honestly. Beautiful car. I've really got to slam the brakes on this turn, though. Yeah, see, even when I did that, I still kind of got off track. Anyway, Madness engine. That's perfect. I wanted to show you all some of Australia's racetracks. And now I think it's time that we move on to another road. And I try my best not to, I try my best not to crash. So let's check it out. We are in France now, and just take a look at this beauty. This is a beautiful car. I like it. Like you could make like a very cinematic movie just by changing the angles. Here I am, of course, not paying attention to the road as well. I feel like this is a very dangerous type of vehicle to drive in, though. Because, like, you have no... totally legal move. I need to return to 9th position because it's gonna eliminate me otherwise. It's kind of stupid. No, it's fine. Anyway, we're in France, and it's a very overcast sky. Other than that, no weather conditions. It feels cold to me. I don't know the temperature here, but it feels cold just looking at this. You know how sometimes you can look outside and you could just tell that it's cold? You haven't even checked your phone or anything. Okay. Alright. Well, my friends, I've totally wiped out. And I'm sorry. I'm absolutely sorry. It's cold, okay? regardless of what the temperature is, it is cold here. Alright? Now, you would think after playing for some time, I could keep up with the other racers. And that would be an incorrect assumption. I obviously don't know A from B, apples from oranges when it comes to a game like this. But I think it would actually be kind of peaceful in real life to just drive on a road like this by yourself, no other cars. That's pretty cool. Just you in the open road. A fun fact about me, I never used to actually like to drive. I was actually really nervous about taking my driver's test. You know how most teenagers, the prospect of having their own car and driving on the road, I think for most teens, it's like, wow, dude, I want to drive, bro, I want to drive. Most teens are kind of like that. When I was a teenager, I was nervous, right? I was nervous about going on the road. And it's not like I had anywhere to go, other than school. But I remember just not really wanting to drive. If I could press a button and I could be somewhere, I would have rather done that. And of course, I've had my share of pretty bad driving experiences that kind of discouraged me even further. The worst part, by far, was the behind the wheel test, right? Because the way that we did it, and maybe it isn't the same for everyone. In fact, I know it's not the same for everyone. But I can kind of tell you my experience with behind the wheel. First, let me change the map. So for this one, we are in France again. So let me just put it out there. Let me say that my drive-in instruction experience was less than ideal. The behind-the-wheel test was not fun. I remember being anxious all the time, I had terrible social anxiety. It was really hard to keep a conversation going, and I just remember the instructor, he actually was in the school system. I think he was a gym teacher or a PE teacher, and perhaps a coach too. I don't quite remember. I've totally just cheated, so I'm gonna let some cars go ahead of me. What's that low rumbling? That's weird. It's like a horror movie. That's so weird. It's not the engine, it's like a low ambient hum, kind of. Very strange. Anyway, that was kind of scary. I was saying that, I like the rain. Sorry, I'm getting very distracted from my own stories. But I remember the instructor kind of being, just not my type as far as people go. I guess what I'm saying is that where he was very blunt, I was very sensitive. Let's just say that. And I was intimidated by the man. I really was. You know that feeling of walking on eggshells? Well, That's kind of the feeling that I had around this guy. And you know what? I get it. He was doing his job. He wanted to make sure that we drove well. And obviously, if you're a driving coach or a driving instructor, you sort of have a pretty big responsibility of making sure that the people you pass, like you give the green light to your student to drive on the road and, go on the next step. It's a big responsibility. Because obviously, if that student becomes a terrible driver, obviously there's going to be questions like, why did you pass this student? So being kind of harsh and blunt, I get it. I truly get it. I don't know if it was a really good experience for anyone. And I know that when I was driving, I made some mistakes. But let me just tell you what made it even worse, okay? It wasn't just this instructor that I was scared of. We also had to do the driving test with 2 other students. So like when I was behind the wheel, there were 2 other students in the back seat who could see every single mistake that I would make. And so to kind of give you an idea of how it worked, we had 3 strikes. Now, I've repeated this story to my friend, and I'm sure I've said it to my family as well, but basically the system was like this. 3 strikes, and you're out. So if you make 3 mistakes within the session, 3 mistakes after the 3rd mistake, you have to try all over again. That's how it worked. Now, I don't know how many of you have experienced something like that. I dare say my situation was probably pretty unique. So if I did my behind the wheel tests and I made 3 mistakes, I would have to be eliminated essentially and try again later on. That's the part that scared me quite a bit, because I didn't want to do this again. It was such an unpleasant experience, especially for someone like me who didn't know how to talk to people. Like, I don't know. It was just, the whole thing was kind of unpleasant. And I know that it was necessary. Like, for me personally, I have to drive. Because I don't have as many options. And it's funny because I'm okay with it now. I'm fine with driving. Unless it's a destination that's far away or a place that I don't know, where I have to rely on a GPS. Sometimes that can be a little nerve-wracking to me. It can be a little nerve-wracking to do that, but, I make do. I'm more comfortable and I'm more confident behind the wheel these days. So, that's what matters. Sometimes you have to do things you don't like in order to get places in life. So, I consider that behind the wheel session. It lasted for, I think, a couple of weeks. We would meet like on a weekday or a weekend, and we would drive. It wasn't every day, but I'm sure you can imagine how nervous I was doing something like that with the knowledge in the back of my head that I could fail. I am driving very dangerously, especially on this slippery of a road, but it's okay. This is just a video game. Don't do this at home, please. If you drive, don't drive like this, okay? Please don't. Whoa. Anyway, this video is about to come to a close. Again, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment if you feel like it, and if not, that's fine. I am Trevor Truck ASMR, and I will see you in another video